Hey guys, so today I'm going to be making a tutorial for this traffic cone design, which was designed by me. I actually designed this really recently, so this is really quick for me to make a tutorial, but I had time today, and this is a super easy design, so I figured why not. So here's the design. So this is the first traffic cone I made. I think it turned out super cute. I did do some slight tweaking. I thought the base was too big, so I made it slightly smaller, and I think this one looks better, just because the bottom was way too big on that other guy. And yeah, so I think this is super cute. I don't know why I wanted to make a traffic cone. It was on my list of things to make. I have a list where I sometimes randomly will think of something and I'm like, oh my god, I should make that. So I have a list of things. And one of the things I wanted to make was a traffic cone. I just thought it would be cute. And the other day I was looming and I was like, you know what? I was looking through the list and I was just like, I should try it. So I did, and it actually turned out really cute. This guy doesn't have a face yet, but I am going to add one later, but I thought it's fine because you guys can see what it looks like without a face and with a face. I personally like it with a face just because I put faces on everything. But yeah, so this is a super simple design. It's pretty easy. It's not hard at all. It's just, it's all tight at the beginning because we start up here, and sometimes it's hard for some beginners just because it's very tight. Band-wise, it's actually not band heavy at all. It's 136 for the whole design. That might be off by 10. I think I accidentally counted something twice, but it's around there. And then for the white, it's 26, and then for the orange is 110, so in total it makes 136. Yeah. But yeah, I don't have too much to say about the design. I think this is a little bit of a random design, but I think it turned out cute, so yeah. So I'm going to show you how to make it. So all you're going to need is whatever colors you want for your traffic cone, a hook and a C-clip, or just something to mark your rows. I always use a C-clip, so I'll be using a C-clip today. And yeah. Also, I always use this hook. It's my double-ended hook, but you don't have to use a double-ended hook. We only need one end. I just really like this hook, as I always say. But yeah, so I think we'll get started. As always, the pattern and band count and everything will be in the description. But yeah. Okay. So to start, hold up. I forgot to put white out. Okay. So to start, we are going to start by doing basically what a magic ring with 4 stitches in it. But if you don't know what that is, I'm going to show you in just a second. Okay. So we're going to start by wrapping a band 3 times around our hook. So 1, 2, and then 3. And then we're going to pull a band through the whole cap band. Put both ends back on our hook. And then you're going to push this back loop over the front loop. And then you're going to want to go back into the cap band. Just kind of hard. There we go. So if you ever get confused and you want to make sure it's a whole cap band, there should be 3 loops. That's what I was struggling with right now. I couldn't get the 3rd loop, but yeah. So once again, we'll pull a band through just the cap band, so not this very last loop. You'll put both ends back on your hook, and you'll push the back one over the front one. And then after you push the back one over the front one, you'll put this loop from last time over as well. And we're going to do that exact same thing we just did 2 more times, so we have 4 loops in the cap band. So you're going to go back into your cap band. You're going to pull a band through just the cap band. Put both ends back on your hook. Push the back loop over the front loop, and then you'll push the loop from last time over. So we'll do that one more time. Like that. And then what we're going to do is, instead of going back into the cap band, we're going to go into this very first loop. So it should be this one. Then we're going to pull a band through just this loop. Put both ends back on our hook. Push the back one over the front one, and then you push the loop from last time over. And then we'll be putting our C-clip on this band. So I've also been noticing in a lot of my comments that people have been off by 1 on a couple of my creations. So I just wanted to mention this, that a lot of other loomers like to put their C-clip on the very last band, so you do it on the very last stitch you did in the cap band. I like to put it on the first band, and this is just a preference thing, but sometimes with designs like this, it can throw it off slightly, especially if some of my designs are like very like increase here, put this color here. this isn't one of those designs where I feel like if you're off by one, it might not be too bad, but I just wanted to mention that because it's a comment I've been getting a lot, so I would just make sure you have your C-clip on the right band. So your C-clip should be on the first band that we do on the loop instead of on the cap band. Oh gosh, I thought my drawer was about to pop open. Okay, but for the next row, we're going to be increasing every other loop, so that means every other stitch we do is going to be a decrease. So yeah. So like I said, this is probably the hardest part because it's very tight, but shouldn't be too bad. So we're going to go into the next loop, and we're going to do an increase. So, because we're increasing every other, we don't increase on this first one. So the one with the C-clip on it, we don't increase, but then the next loop we do an increase. So all an increase is you put 2 stitches in one loop. Like that. And then the next stitch will just be a single stitch, so we'll just do 1 single stitch in this loop. And then the next one is an increase, so we'll be doing 2 stitches in this last one. So 1, then go back and do another one, 2. And then after that, you should be back at the C-clip. So once you get to the band with the C-clip on it, you're just going to make a stitch on the band that has a C-clip on it. And then you'll move the C-clip up on to this band. Okay, so I kind of messed up. It's not a big mess up. Basically, this last stitch we just did should actually be in white, so let's just undo that. So we're going to undo our last stitch. I always forget we switch colors here, I'm sorry. But we're going to undo the last stitch. And we're going to redo the stitch, but this time in white. But because we're flipping colors, we're going to pull this band through everything on our hook, and then put the back one over the front one. And then we'll put our C-clip on this one. Like that. So after that last row, you should be at 6 loops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now for the next row, we are going to be increasing every third. So every third loop will be a decrease. No, not decrease, an increase. So we're going to do 2 single stitches and then an increase. And we'll just do that all the way around. So, yeah. Yep, okay. So this is 1. Then the next one would be 2. So we're going to do another single stitch. And this row is in white, so the whole row all the way around will be white. So it's 1. So the first one's 1, 2, and then this third one will be an increase. So we put 2 stitches in this loop. And then once again, we'll do 2 single stitches. So 1, 2, and then on the third loop, we do an increase. So 1, 1, 2. Sorry, my mom just texted me. I hope it didn't mess up the video because my mom keeps randomly texting me right now. Okay, and then once we get back to the C-clip, we're just gonna move up, do a stitch on the band that has the C-clip on it, but we're gonna want to do it in orange. So because we're flipping colors, once again, we'll pull the orange band through everything on our hook, put both ends back on our hook, and then push the back one over the front one. And then we're gonna move our C-clip up. So that should be the worst part is over, because I know this starts very tight, but we just finished it, and it's not tight anymore, so yay. So the next row we're going to do is we're just going to do 1 row normal in orange, so we're just going to do 1 row around, putting 1 stitch in every loop until we get back to the C-clip, so we're just doing single stitches all the way around. Oh wait, oh shoot, I messed up again. Ugh, I'm sorry guys, I forgot. I could refilm, but I'm not gonna, because it's not that big of a mess up. So we are gonna still be doing 1 row around, but we're still in white, so we're gonna undo this last loop. And we're just gonna do the same stitch we did, but in white. And then we'll put the C-clip on this one. And we don't have to slip stitch because we're in the same color. I just forgot we're still doing white. Oopsies. It's not that big of a mess up though, so it's not like I should refilm because it's fine. It's fine. undoing one stitch does not hurt anybody. Basically, I just forgot that this stripe at the top is 2 rows thick. Yeah. But yeah, so we're still going to do 1 row around in white. It's just, with all single stitches, I just forgot that we don't go to orange. After this row, we go to orange. But yeah. So we're just going to do 1 row doing single stitches all the way around until we get back to the C-clip. So we're just putting 1 band in every loop. All the way around. You know, I think it's kind of funny when you guys are like, I can't see what you're doing because your fingers are in the way, because I actually look through my camera to see myself looming. So I know my fingers aren't in the way. And I think it's funny when you guys are like, I can't see, because I'm like, you can totally see. Oh, yeah. And then once we get to the C-clip, we're going to flip colors back to orange. And this time we're doing it for real. I won't have you undo it. But once you get to the C-clip, you're going to do a slip stitch. So you're going to pull a band through everything on your hook. And then put the back one over the front one. And then you're going to move the C-clip up onto this loop. Like that. So now your cone should be looking something like this. And you should have 2 rows of white. But after the last row, we should still be at... What are we at? We're at 8 loops. So you should still be at 8 loops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I also think I forgot to count after the last row. But this tutorial is kind of a mess. But I don't think I'm going to redo it. I don't know if I should redo it. Nah, I'm just going to keep going. Yeah, I'm going to keep going because the pattern's in the description, so it's fine. I'm sorry. Okay, so we're going to do another row normal, but this time in orange, so nothing really changes. We're just going to do another row normal, but in orange. So I'm just going to forewarn you guys, if I ever forget to count at the end of any row, if you go in the description, it says how many you should have at the end of the row, because I'm pretty sure after the last row I forgot to count with the first white row. But if I ever do that, you can always check the description and it'll have the count down there. But yeah, we're doing another row normal, but this time in orange. So we're just putting 1 band in every loop until we get back to the C-clip. See, I don't know if I'm going fast or if this thing is just so small to go around that I do it quick. But once again, once we get to the C-clip, I'm going to make sure we're going to be flipping back to white. So you're going to want to get your white bands and we are going to flip back to white. So once you get to the C-clip, you're going to do another slip stitch. So you're going to pull this band through everything on your hook and then put the back one over the front one. And then we're going to move our C-clip up onto this band because we're flipping back to white. And this is also the last time we flip to white, so after this we just flip back to orange. And then I will be done with my slightly confusing color flipping. I'm making sure I know what I'm doing. Okay, so for this row, we're going to be increasing every 4th. So basically what that means, we're going to do 3 single stitches, and then on the 4th loop, we're going to do an increase. And I don't know who's ringing our doorbell. I should maybe go check. I'll be right back. Okay, I was going to go check, but it sounds like my sister is handling it. So we should be good. So yeah, so we're going to be increasing every 4th, like I said. So we're going to do 3 single stitches, and then after the 3 single stitches, we're going to do an increase. So this is 1. This next one is 2. And then 3. And so after you do 3 single stitches, the 4th one will be an increase. So we'll be doing 2 stitches in this loop. And then we're just going to do that until we get to the C-clip. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, and then this one will be an increase, the very last loop. And then after that we should be at the C-clip, and because we're going to be switching back to orange, we need to slip stitch again. So you're going to go into the loop that has a C-clip on it. You're going to pull a band through everything on your hook, push the back one over the front one, and then we're going to move the C-clip up onto this band. like that. So after that last row, you should be at 10 loops. So if we count around, you should have 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that is it for the color flipping. We just finished doing this part right here. So that's good. So now we're going to do one row normal. So we're just going to do single stitches all the way around. And yeah. So we're just going to do single stitches all the way around. And I just want to say, if it seems like I'm going a little fast, you can pause at any point to catch up. But yeah. So we're just doing single stitches all the way around. And once you get to the C-clip, you're just going to make a stitch on the band that has a C-clip on it. And then you're going to move it up. So if you count around now, you should be at 10 loops still. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you should still have 10 loops. So once again, for the next row, we're going to be increasing every fourth again. So we're going to do 3 single stitches and then an increase, just like we did like 2 rows ago, I guess. And believe it or not, we're actually almost done with this cone. It's a pretty quick design. Like I said, so we're going to be increasing every fourth. So this is 1, this one's 2, 3. So 3 single stitches, and then on the fourth one, we'll do an increase. So 1, go back in and do another one. And then we're just going to keep doing this all the way around. So we'll do 3 single stitches. So 1, 2, 3. And then on the fourth one, we'll do an increase. And then we'll just do single stitches till the C-clip. Once you get to the C-clip, you'll just make a stitch on the band that has a C-clip on it, and you will move it up. Like that. So after that last row, you should be at 12 loops. So if you count around, you should have 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Like that. So now we're going to do one row normal all the way around again. So we're just going to do single stitches all the way around. And this is actually the last row of the cone, and then we just do the bottom thing. So he comes together pretty quickly. So single stitches all the way around. I also think I heard my mom. She just got home. She was making flower arrangements for our church all morning. So yeah. But we're just gonna do single stitches until we get to the C-clip. I don't know if you can hear my dad with the door either. He's messing with the front door. I don't know why, but my room's near the front door, so sorry if you can hear that. But yeah. Okay, so once you get to the band that has a C-clip on it, you're just going to make a stitch on the band that has a C-clip on it, and you're going to move your C-clip up. Okay, so I know I said we just do one row, but I just looked at my pattern and we're supposed to do 2 rows, so we're going to do 1 row around just doing single stitches. Again. I'm debating if I should refilm this, because I don't know how many mistakes I've had already. And it's literally just because I keep not looking at my pattern. Like, great job, but yeah, I don't think any of my mistakes have been that bad, though. Like, I just told you to do 1 row instead of 2. It's not bad, because you just do another row. So, yeah. Also, the pattern in the description's correct. Yeah. My mistakes haven't been that bad this tutorial. It's just, like, little things, but, you know. I think your cone should still turn out okay, even with my disaster. But yeah, so once you get to the C-clip, instead of moving it up, this time we're just going to pull a band through everything on our hook, put the back one over the front one, and pull tight. And then you can just take out this C-clip. Boop. And then you're just going to want to tuck the tail up into the inside of the cone. So you just want to go through some of the stitches on the inside. And you're just going to gently pull it in. It doesn't need to be pulled in super tight, just so that way it doesn't stick out. Like that. So you tie it off after doing 2 rows normal, so we just did 2 rows normal and then we tied it off. Just to recap what we did. So that is it for the top part of the cone, and now we're going to do this around bit. So to do that, we're just going to stitch around the bottom, and I'll show you how I do this, and where I do this is actually really simple. But basically, I usually just go near where I slip knotted it, so I can tell I slip knotted it there. And I'm just going to go, so you see these this last row? Right under where this horizontal band is, you're going to want to go through that. You're going to like pick it up, and then you're going to make a stitch on it. Like that. And we're going to do this all the way around. So we're going to go through this part right here. So just look for, I don't know exactly what to call this part, but right here. I'm trying to really show you. And that's where we're going to go through, and then we're going to pull a stitch through. And we're just going to stitch all the way around the bottom. So you just go through that part. It should look like it's in between the loop and then the band we flip over. And then you'll just pull a band through, put both ends on your hook, push the back one over the front one, and then you'll push the loop from last time over. And we're just going to do this all the way around until we get back to where this bit is. So you're just going to stitch into the bottom part here. And you're going to want to stitch into the same part. So you can see that there's like a bunch in the row here, so we'll stitch into all these. It's not like you're stitching into different parts. You just stitch into this bit. It's really hard to show you, but I hope you understand what I'm doing just by looking. Yeah. So we're just going to stitch around by going into this part. And then there's a little bit of disaster where we tied it off, but I can kind of see that there's a loop right here. So we'll go into that. And then we should be back at the start, and you can kind of tell because we have this weird thing. But you're going to want to go into the first loop, make a stitch, and then we'll put our C-clip on this one. So if you count around, you should have 12 loops. So let's count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh no. Why do we have 11? Hold up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh no. I must have missed one. I must have. So you should have 12. If you don't, it means you probably missed one. And I can tell that, like, all these are evenly spaced, and there was a big stretch here, so I think I need to go in here. Yeah, because then you can see how it's all evenly spaced. So if you have one long stretch, that's probably where you missed one. But yeah, so now if I count around, I should have 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you should have stitched around the bottom 12. And now what we're going to do is we are going to increase every other loop on all the stitches we just made. So it's going to be a single, and then an increase, a single, and then an increase all the way around. And I'm picking up bands again. Okay, so this is a single, so the next one's going to be an increase. Then we're going to do a single stitch. And then an increase. So we just keep alternating this. Just doing a single, an increase, a single, and an increase. Until we get to the C-clip. I really hope I'm explaining this well. I think I am, but sometimes I'm just like, 1, increase. At the end of this row, you should have 18. 1, increase. I'm just picking up more bands. Okay. Okay, I just did an increase. So it's a single one now. Then an increase. Then once you get to the C-clip, you're just going to do a single stitch on the band that has a C-clip on it. And you'll move your C-clip up onto this next loop that's on your hook. So now if you count around, you should have 18 loops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Like that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to be making the corners as well as we're going to decrease in 2 spots. It's pretty simple. So the way I like to think about it is we want 4 corners. And if you do 18 divided by 4, it is, wait, what is it? There was math involved when I did this the first time, but basically you're going to want to use like 4 loops per side. So you'll do like 3 single stitches and then you'll do the corner bit. But because we have 18 instead of 16, my math brain is wild, so this is probably going to make sense to none of you. But we have 18 loops. You want 16 loops so that way the corners are spaced perfectly, so we have to decrease in 2 spots so we end up with 16 loops, and then we do 3 single stitches. It's like a whole... I hope you understand where my brain is going with this. I've never been one for math, but that's kind of how I broke this down. So basically, for this first corner, we're going to do 3 single stitches, and then this fourth one will be the corner. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed my little thought process into how that corner went. That probably helped none of you and you're more confused now. I promise the corners aren't hard. My explaining with the math and all, yeah, it's just, yeah. Anyway, so we're going to do 3 single stitches. So this first one counts as 1. So 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to make a corner. And how we make a corner is we're going to go into the next loop. We're going to chain up 1, and then we're going to make 3 stitches in this chain. So that's 1, and go back into the chain, 2, and then 3, and that'll make a corner. And then we'll go into the next loop, we'll just make a stitch. And then after we do this 1 stitch, we're going to do a decrease. So you're going to grab the front part of 1 loop, the back part of the next loop, and you'll make a stitch on this. And then we're going to do a single stitch. And then on the next loop, we're going to do another corner. So we're going to chain up 1, and then we're going to be putting 3 stitches in this chain again. And then once again, we'll be doing 3 single stitches, and then we'll do another corner. So you go into the next one. Do 1, 2, and then 3, and then we'll do another corner. Okay. Yeah, let me pick up some more bands. I think I'm just barely gonna have enough orange. Well, I have more orange, but I poured out a little bit of orange. I think I'm gonna have like the perfect amount, and it's always so satisfying. Okay. So like I said, we just did 3 single stitches, so we're going to do another corner. So you'll chain up 1, and then you'll put 3 stitches in this chain. And then we'll do 1 single stitch. And then we'll do a decrease, so you're going to grab the front part of 1 loop, and the back part of the next loop, make a stitch. Then we'll do another single stitch. And then this will be the corner. So you chain up, you do 3 stitches. And then you'll go to the next loop. And let me check something. Okay, I was just making sure we do this. So once we finish this last corner, we're just going to go into the loop that has a C-clip on it, which should be the next loop. And you're going to pull a band through everything on your hook, and you'll slip knot. So just pull tight. And then you just take your C-clip out, and we are done. So to tuck the tail in, I usually just go into some of these loops here on the bottom, and I'll just tuck it in. You don't want to pull it super tight because then it kind of distorts the shape. But once you get to the point, you can just kind of pull it into the cone, and then you don't have to really worry about hiding it anymore because it's in the cone. So yeah. Yeah, the bit where we tie the cone, it kind of looks awkward sometimes, but it's fine. Looks a little awkward. Let me try something. Just undo this. See, this is what I was debating, if I should just do a single stitch then tie it off, or if I should just tie it off, but I'm going to try to do a single stitch and then tie it off just to see if it looks better. This is not a huge deal, like, it's just preference. So I'm going to do a single stitch and then tie it off and see if that looks better, because I think it looked a little odd. Yeah, I think that's going to look a little better. So all I did right now is I undid a stitch, and then I just did a single stitch and then tied it off again. Now we'll just tuck in just tuck in the tying band, and then we'll be good. Okay. Yeah, that kind of fixed the corner. I feel like this corner, this one bit, I've tried different things. It looks kind of awkward no matter what, just because it's where one row ends and another one starts. But you should have a traffic cone. And I don't stuff them or anything. I think they're kind of fun when they have the bottom open. I don't know. Let me go get some stuff so we can put a face on, and then I think we're done. Okay, so I got all my stuff. So I put my beads on my bands already, but if you don't know how to put, or if you don't have beads, you can always get a band, wrap it 4 times around your hook, and then just pull a band through. Same kind of thing as it works the same. Yeah, and if you're wondering how to put beads on bands, I think I show how in my Loomigurumi Basics video, but if not, basically you just need your band, a bead, and then a piece of floss, and you could probably figure it out. I forgot to show you, but it's fine. But usually what I do is, wherever we switched rows, it's not as clean, with the stitching. So I usually go opposite of that. And this is where we'll put the face. I usually just pick a spot I like. About right here is where I'll put the eyes. So we'll go right here. Slip knot it in. And then I usually don't tuck the tails in until I'm happy with the eye placement, just because if I'm not happy, it's easier to find the tail than if I tuck it in. Because then it's a pain to find the tail. Yeah, pull tight. I do find it's easier with these beads sometimes if you hold onto the beads when you pull tight. Just a note, I guess. Just tie the eyes in. Like that. And then for the cheeks, I just get whatever color I want my cheeks. I always use Sweets bands too. I just think they look cute because it gives them like sparkly cheeks. And I'll come, okay, so the eyes right here, I'll come, you see this like loop that's going like this? Go into that, it's right under the eye. And then I'll push the back one over the front one, and I won't pull it too tight, and then we'll just tuck the end in. This is how I do cheeks usually. if you've watched any of my other tutorials. But I always go right here. I'll come right under the eye. And then tie it in. Like that. And then there you go. Our traffic cone is done. I also just realized that this nasty bit is now on the front because I didn't notice it was the front. Yeah, whatever. Okay. So I hope your traffic cone came out okay. Also, I added a face on this guy off camera. I don't know why he looks so lopsided because this guy looks perfect. I don't know why this man's looking lopsided, but he's fine. He's having some issues. If you make a traffic cone, definitely share it with me. I would love to see how yours turn out. I'll have my Instagram in the description as well as my Etsy. I might add some of these traffic cones to my Etsy, so if you're interested, maybe go check it out. Maybe they'll be up, maybe they won't be. I'm selling a bunch of cows on my Etsy right now. So if you want a cow from me, I'm doing a fun kind of like mystery cow thing where you order a cow from me and I'm going to send you a mystery one. I put the options up on the post. You should check that out. I think it's kind of fun. Yeah, so subscribe if you want to see more tutorials from me. I have more stuff coming. I think for sure the next tutorials are probably going to be mini cat noir, and I think I might want to make a mini queen bee, maybe. If not, it's going to be the cat from Seoul, so those things are coming, which is exciting. So yeah, subscribe if you want to see those things. I'm also going to be posting some fun videos soon. I have a video plan with my sister, so, you know, always good to subscribe. And yeah, also I just wanted to say, just random thought I had. These really remind me, I don't know if anyone plays Roblox, but the caution cone hat on Roblox, that is exactly what this is giving me vibes of. I used to play Roblox like years ago. I was on when Roblox first started. Not important, just the thought I had. But yeah, so I think that's it for this tutorial. Like I said, subscribe if you want more videos from me. Pattern, Instagram, everything, Etsy is down in the description. Even my TikTok, which I might start posting on again. But yeah, I think that is it for this video, so I hope your traffic cone turned out okay, but I'm gonna go, so bye.